Don't touch that.
And of course, we all know as soon as your parent says, don't do that, you're going to do it. God could not have made that rule without knowing that they would eat that fruit. It's like someone just said, don't throw me in the briar patch earlier. So our characters, our main characters, of course, eat the fruit. The consequence is an awakening into the existential dilemma, because that's what God lays out. Now you're going to be mortal, That's the first premise in existentialism, that life is finite, that we're all going to die. Now you're going to be responsible for your actions, basically. Second premise of existentialism. You're going to work for your living, you're going to earn your bread by the sweat of your brow, and you're going to bring forth children in pain. Those are pretty much what's said, right? And I go one step further with bringing forth children in pain. Your children will continue to be a pain. Which, probably in early hunter-gatherer cultures, they didn't have those problems. So once you break the rules, once you're 12, 13, you break the big rule, now you're on your own. Now you're making it up as you go along in an ethical sense. And you're kind of really responsible for your actions. So our characters are expelled from the garden for breaking the rule. They're expelled from their tribe. They venture out into the world, a world of moral chaos. The first person they meet is Cain, who's already in this deep sibling rivalry with Abel. And so I wanted to look at that. We kind of play Cain as the first sociopath. Totally, sees the world. He's a narcissist. He sees the world entirely from his point of view. And the plot machinations happen, blah, blah, blah. You'll see it. And then they're enslaved. Whole notion of freedom, and then they meet Abraham just as he's about to sacrifice Isaac. In the movie, they are the angels that were, from Abraham's point of view, they're the angels that were sent to stop him. From their point of view, well, at least I'll backtrack one little bit. Jack Black's character believes that he's been chosen, that he has a special destiny. It's the only way to explain how he screws up so often. It's not his fault. Something is guiding him. So he won't take personal responsibility for what's happening. It's externally derived. God wants him to do it. Why did I eat that fruit? Maybe God wanted me to eat the fruit. So he thinks he's chosen. His young partner, Michael Cera, believes that life is completely random and accidental, and therefore terrifying to him. So when they encounter Abraham, who also believes he's chosen, we begin to see what chosenness, what the effects of a God, an external God who speaks to you, who tells Abraham to sacrifice his son. So you'll see it. They yell, "Stop! What are you doing with that kid?" He said, "Nothing." What do you mean nothing? He said, "You were going to kill him." He said, "I wasn't going to kill him. I was going to sacrifice him." There's a tremendous difference. And they say, "Well, not to him, I'm guessing." So complex ideas reduced to comedy, but about responsibility, divine providence, and of course, as soon as they hear about Sodom, they can't wait to get there. And then we see how ideas of social justice get perverted by early civilization. We have an entrenched state religion that supports a monarchy that supports the religion. So you have this aristocracy of power backed by religion and human sacrifice and rampant injustice, which our characters go up against. In the end, the movie will say, hopefully to everybody, that it does. Our characters keep debating God, no God, and in the end, the movie.
Don't finish the ending.
All right, I won't. All right, philosophically, what it says is, whether you believe in God or not makes no difference. You still have the obligation to act responsibly in the world. So that's how it evolved. I always say that anything can be made funny, but for me, I like to start with an idea that's worth working on. I spent 4 years. 4 years ago, I started saying to Erica, hey, I think I got something. Started making notes in the summer 4 years ago, and not like I worked full time on it. That would come out to about $1 an hour, but no, we did a lot. You know, it develops in stages, and I of course had collaborators, none of whom ever dipped into this as seriously as I did. But the words that echoed from that very first 9/11 Rosh Hashanah were, Erwin told stories of people who either were at the World Trade Center or might have been and chose not to be for whatever reason. And I think he said, and unless I made it up in my head, I think he said, uncertainty is the condition of life and randomness is its expression. And I kind of believe that orthodoxy is and fundamentalism is an attempt to kind of blot out that uncertainty. It's just too painful for a lot of people and too frightening to live in a world where they are responsible. But I think that's the essence of being Jewish, is to take personal responsibility. God stopped speaking directly to man, according to Karen Armstrong, some halfway through the Torah, somewhere.